Hello everybody! Happy Art Day! Welcome to Freakin' Art! My name's Anastasia and I'm so happy you decided to join me today to make some art. Today we're going to be doing a really fun mixed media project. What's mixed media? Well, mixed media is when you use more than one kind of material. Do you like the snow? I love the snow. It makes me really happy. Do you want to build a snowman? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make our very own mixed media snowman using simple shapes. So as you can see here, the different materials we're using is paper and paint. And we're making this really happy snowman who's totally enjoying the snow by just using our simple shapes. Doesn't that sound fun? I think so. So for today's class, you're going to need a paintbrush, some white and black paint, 2 different circles to trace, one smaller and one a little bit bigger. Some water and paper towels will be helpful to clean off that brush. And then we're going to use some different colored paper. I've got the white paper for the snowman. I'm going to be using black paper for my background so it looks like it's nighttime. If you don't have black paper, don't worry. Blue would look really nice, or really anything. And if you only have white paper, you can always paint your paper too. Besides the white and black paper, I'm going to have orange paper to make that carrot nose, and I'm using some festive complementary colors. That's right, the red and green to make my scarf. Now before we start, let's do a little breathing and a little stretch so we can be really focused on our artwork. Okay? Everybody breathe in and breathe out. Woo. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. That felt nice. Let's roll our shoulders back. And can we roll them forward? Let's stretch out our fingers and our hands. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I feel focused and I'm ready to go. I hope you are too. So let's start by drawing our circles. I'm going to move some stuff so I have a little bit of room here. I have this fun snowman looking up, because you know when you look up, your nose kind of looks like a triangle, and he's kind of coming in from the side like he's photobombing this image. But you could also do it just straight on like this. Artist choice. It's your artwork and it should look like yours. I'm going to go ahead and make this one because I think he looks really happy. So let's start by drawing our circles. So I got my white piece of paper. I'm going to use a pen. You could always use a pencil. Or you can use the pen and then flip over your paper when you glue it down. So I'm going to start with the little circle. And I'm going to try to keep my circle in one place while I trace it so it doesn't get all wobbly. If I was you, I would just do this flat on the table. Okay, so I got my little circle and I'm going to trace all around it. There we go. Now I'm going to grab my bigger circle and I'm going to trace all around this. Great! I've got 2 circles now. So now I'm going to cut out my circles. And I think before I start painting anything, I'll draw and cut all my shapes first. That way, once the paint comes out, it gets a little bit messy. So this way we're not smudging our paper before we start our project. Okay, so I have my 2 circles. I'm going to cut them out. Don't worry about it being perfectly smooth. When you make a snowball, it's kind of lumpy anyway. So let's not stress about that. Just try to do the best we can. Okay, I got 1 circle. Now I'm going to do the bigger one. Okay, I got my 2 circles for my snowman. Let's see, what else do we have on this snowman? We have a big triangle on both of them for that carrot nose. So we're going to go ahead and draw and cut out our triangle shape. You could do it as big as or as small as you want. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and draw it on here first so you can see it. But you don't need to draw it at home. You could always just trust yourself and cut out that triangle. So let's see, I want a kind of big triangle. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. Well, you can see the black still where I drew it, but I'm just going to flip it over when I glue it, so I'm not worried about that. So I have my 2 circles and my triangle for my nose. What else do we need? Well, how about these rectangles for the scarf? So for that, I'm going to cut out 2 big strips and then cut it into a couple pieces. So you just got to think about how thick you want your scarf to be. Do you want it to be really thick or really tiny? I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Now you can just fold it and crease it real good and lick it on that fold and tear it, or you can cut it. It's up to you. Now I want my rectangular strips to be the same size so they match up when I go every other color with the complementary colors here. So I'm just going to measure it, my red strip on my green strip here. That looks about right. And I'm going to go ahead and fold. Maybe I'll just cut out I'll use this long rectangle as a guide and I will just cut around it. So I have a matching green and red strip. So I gotta be careful not to move my fingers. Okay, here we go. There we go, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but nothing is, so it's fine. Okay, now I want my scarf to be alternating, so every other one a different color, or either red or green on every other one. So I'm going to cut this into a couple rectangles. Now you can do this a couple different ways. You could just cut, cut, cut. If you're not worried about it being even, you could also fold it in half and then fold it in half again. That's what I'm going to do. So I have these little fold marks as a guide of where to cut. Okay, so let's cut these. They're almost square. They're such chunky rectangles, but let's cut out these rectangles here. So I've got my 2 circles, I've got my triangle nose, and I got a couple different rectangular shapes in red and green to make my scarf. The next thing we need is the twigs for the arms. Now your snowman doesn't have to have arms. I'm going to have mine going like this. But you could have yours with its arms behind its back, and then you don't have to worry about it. You could also do this in paint. I just didn't have any brown paint, but I have some nice brown paper, so I'm going to cut out some really skinny lines. And I'm not going to draw it, I'm just going to go for it. I trust myself, I'm just doing some skinny lines. And I'll just cut out 2 of them right now. And then I'll decide how long I want those arms to be once I start gluing everything down. So I just got 2 skinny strips. Okay. So if you're following along, we should have our 2 circles. We should have our triangle for our carrot nose. We should have a couple different rectangles for our scarf, and maybe you have 2 long strips for your arms. Okay, so I'm going to put this all on a piece of paper right here so I don't lose track of it. All my cutout shapes are in one area now. Now I'm going to do my snowman like this. Like I said, you can do it however you want. This is just to give you an idea. I'm going with this guy. He looks fun. You could go like this, straight on. But I'm going to show you how to do this guy who's popping into the frame, because we're going to fold that circle over the corner. So we're going to start with our big circle. I don't know if I told you you needed it, but we need a glue stick. Might have forgot that in the intro. And I'm just going to put glue all on the back here. And you don't have to totally cover it. You could just get the edges and a little bit in the center. And now I want my snowman to come in from this side, so the bottom left. But I also want it to look like he's popping in, so I'm going to put the circle a little bit off that page. See? You can see it's hanging off of that black. So first I'm going to smooth down the circle right here. Then I'm going to fold the other part around the corner there. There we go. Now it looks like I got a ball, half a ball, 3/4 of a ball coming in on that page. Next, we're going to take the small circle and put it on top. So again, we're going to take our glue stick, which I may or may not have told you to grab. Sorry. And we're just going to go around that edge. Ooh, there may be a little X. That seems like more than enough glue. And I'm going to pop this on top here. Maybe you could have it just go like that. You could have it overlapping. Artist choice. I think we'll just have it just touching, just barely touching there. A little bit of an overlap. And then you're going to smooth it down. Okay. Now, we're going to get out our paint. That's right. I'm going to get my white paint. And usually, I would pour my paint onto a plate or a palette so I don't have to worry about getting my white paint dirty. But I'm going to use the white and just the white to start, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my paintbrush in the paint. Not the best practice, but I think I got control over it. So, got my paint, and I got this really nice paintbrush that kind of comes to a point. If you don't have a paintbrush, you could always grab a Q-tip. That would work really well to do this. So we're going to dip it in the paint. And now we're going to put in our snow. So you can do as many or as little snowflakes as you want. You could have them be really fat or really tiny. It's up to you. So let's go. Now I'm doing the snow first so that when I put the scarf and everything on, it overlaps that snowflake and makes it look like it's in front. So just go all over your back page here, your background. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just what you like. So you could have some really big fat snowflakes. You could have just a few or a whole bunch like I'm doing. It's up to you. Let's see. I think that looks good. So I'm going to put the cap back on my white paint. I shouldn't need it again. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and put in the arms. So again, if you have brown paint, you can always clean off that paintbrush real good and do a nice brown line where you want those arms. I'm going to use paper. First, I'm going to take this big long piece and I'm going to see how long I want that arm to be. And I'm not going to press it all the way down yet because I don't want to smush the white paint. So I'm just kind of hovering it above. And I probably want it to be about that long. Okay. So I'm going to tear my piece of paper so I have a shorter arm. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this guy. Work out. It's just a piece of paper. And I'm going to stick it right right there. Now, I know the paint's still a little bit wet, but I'm not planning on moving my twiggy arm, so I'm just going to be really careful about putting it down and leave it. Okay. I probably want the other side to be close to the same size, so I'll just take it here and do a little measure that looks about right and tear that one and put some glue on the back of this one. And let's see, put it right about there. Now I could just leave it like this, but I'm going to make my twig look like it has some little branches coming off of it, so it kind of also looks like a hand. So I'm going to take these extra pieces and tear them and put some glue on them and then put them down. Now you can put as many or as few twiggy pieces on here. You could also skip this part, and like I said, it could look like your snowman has its arms behind its back and is just looking up at snow. It's up to you. Okay, so let's put some twigs on here. And I got this other little extra piece, so I'm going to tear off a couple pieces and put some little twig offshoots on the other side. Let's see. That looks pretty good. I think I want to move this guy down a little bit. It looks funny. That looks okay. Okay. Next, let's put on our scarf. So we have these. You can have whatever colors you want. You could also just have one color, but I'm doing the complementary red and green holiday colors here. And I'm going to start by putting a little bit of glue on the back of one piece. Oops. And I'm going to look to where this edge of my rectangle matches up with the head and the neck. I don't think this is anything that you have to really worry about. It's just my personal preference of what I think is going to look nice. So, putting it right there in between the small circle and the larger circle. We got one. Oops. I smeared a snowflake. I think you'll be okay. Just be careful, guys. You could always wait for your snowflakes to dry a little bit before you start gluing down things if you're worried about it. Otherwise, if they're smudged, it will just kind of look like it's a blizzard. Okay, now I'm doing every other color, so I got my complementary color to the red, the green, and I'm putting it down here. Now you can overlap it however much you want, or you don't have to overlap it at all. I'm going to overlap it a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to grab a red again. Now I'm going to make it have like two little tails that are flying in the snow. I'm going to go up and then I'll go down by one. One that's going up. I'm going to grab the same color, I'm going to grab the green. One that's going down. And then I'll finish it off with a little bit more of that red. Okay, let's see. That looks pretty good. It's a very chunky scarf, but it's keeping our snowman nice and warm. Next, I'm going to put in my carrot nose. Now, you could do this like that. You could have it go sideways, or you could have it go up. Now, I'm having mine go up because my snowman is looking up at all the snow coming from the sky. And if you have a friend around or a doll around, you can ask them to tip their head back. Hopefully I don't have any boogers that you can see, but if you tip your head back, your nose kind of looks like a triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on the back side, the side that has the black marks of my triangle here. And I'm going to have it overlap, so it's going on both the white and the black here. There we go. Looks pretty good. Now we're just missing all of our coal pieces. Ah, cat. So we can put in our smile and our buttons and maybe some eyes if you want. I guess if your head's far enough back, you wouldn't really see the eyes. So that's up to you. So I'm shaking up my black paint here. And I'm cleaning off my brush really nice, so I don't get any of that white paint into the black paint, because then I'd have gray paint, and that would be terrible the next time I wanted to use black paint. So, drying off my brush, go ahead and dip it in there. And I'm going to start with my buttons. You can do them as big or as small as you want, and you can have as many as you want. It's your artwork, remember? So I'm going to go one, probably do a little bit bigger than that. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go with 3. That looks good. Now, I'm going to do my smile. He looks pretty happy. And now I'm going to put some dots in for the eyes. I'm just going to do them way far up here. I think he looks great. Let's see. Yeah. Look at this happy snowman enjoying the snow. It's snowing, it's snowing. Oh, looks amazing. I mean, not to, you know, pat my own back or anything, but I think the snowman looks super happy and like they're having a really great time in that snowstorm, huh? Now remember, if you're not really into how this one looks, you could do the same idea with the mixed media collage art project and build your snowman just straight on. It's up to you. I would love to see your creations, so please tag me on Instagram, shoot a little picture and send me an email or some snail mail of your original artwork, and then we can look at it together online. That would be fun. If you liked today's class, I sure did. But if you liked it, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. It really makes a big difference in helping me continue these free art classes for you guys on YouTube. Well, thanks so much for making art with me today. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!